Too bright. Wrong filter. There we go. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today, June 15th, Drama Hospital Recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. I know the last few have been weird, but let's get right to it. At the Metro Court, Olivia is looking through a bridal magazine, and Julian comes up behind her, just the person she wants to see. He says she's shocked. He says he's out on bail. She asks about Ava. He says she's fighting and winning, and life is never going to be the same for her, though. He wants to see Leo, and she doesn't want him back in Leo's life since he's going to just leave again when he goes to jail. And Leo's happy right now. They threw him a huge second birthday party. Julian wishes he could have been there, and she's like, yeah, but you weren't. And, coming back now would just confuse him, do the best thing for Leo, and let Ned adopt him. So he still wants to see him. He's the only child he has that doesn't hate him. And Olivia's like, yeah, that's because he's only 2. And Julian still wants to co-parent. And she's like, no, you broke your promise. When we made that agreement, you said you were going to stay out of the mob. You broke your promise. So she asks when the trial is, so he will be out of their life for good. And he says he could get out of the charges. And she's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. So Olivia is holding strong. He has no right to Leo anymore. And then Alexis comes out of nowhere and says Julian has every right to see his son. So Olivia, first of all, Alexis is the reason Julian even found out that this Leo was his son, but then that's the reason Ned and Olivia can be together now, so I guess I'm not too mad. But Olivia can't believe what's happening. Alexis tells her to be reasonable and it won't backfire on her. Julian could have sued for custody back in the day when, she was lying about who Leo was, and Olivia asks if she wants him to beat the charges. So Olivia tells Julian about how horrible he was, and he promised to do better, and he didn't warn anyone about Olivia, and he went with her, and Olivia asks... Olivia, oh my goodness, this is way too confusing, asks what kind of father does that, and he says he did everything he did for his kids, especially Leo, and, she told Alexis not to fall for Julian's letter story, and Alexis is like, wait, no, you told me to believe it, and she's like, no, just the part about him loving you. So Olivia isn't going to let Alexis use her son as a pawn to show Julian she still loves him. At Kelly's, Amy is on the phone with someone. She seems sad. She needs a new plan to keep them afloat. Nathan comes up to talk to her, and he asks if he can help. She takes offense. He says he could have helped with the book deal, but he refused, and he says he couldn't be that person for her. So then Dylan comes over to them, and he wants to talk about the reunion, but she's very wound up, and she's like, no, people are so different now. Some people, they changed after high school, or their life went downhill after high school, and then she storms off, and the two of them could see something is really wrong with her. So Dylan asks what's up, and, to Nathan, how's Maxie? She's good. Dylan's picking up some food for Kiki, and then he asks if Maxie's coming home soon. Nathan's like, oh, it's all still up in the air. So Dylan asks, what's happening with Amy, and Nathan says that, he was trying to help, and it backfired. They're kind of recent friends, and Dylan says, yeah, we went to high school together, but lost touch. So Nathan can't say exactly what he and Amy were talking about, because it would violate her confidence, and they talk about high school Maxie, and how she wasn't the nicest person in the world. She was always, and how Amy was always there for different charities and clubs, and Dylan even knew her brothers, including Chet Driscoll, who was apparently this really big football guy, but he was super nice to everyone. He wasn't the stereotypical guy you picture. So he got offered a lot of scholarships and went on to play for Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Badgers. I've been in Wisconsin a few times, but then his shoulder went out, and then you didn't really hear much of him. So Nathan looks him up. He doesn't know what to think. Amy's really upset. High school brought up a lot of emotion for her. He thinks this has something to do with her brother, and he has a hunch, but Dylan says that this Chet is untraceable, and Nathan's checking databases. He finds something, and now he feels worse. At General Hospital, Sam is leaning against the wall. She's really jumpy, and she talks to Griffin. She was gonna call Dr. Lee. She's been really anxious, and it's been going on for a really long time. So Nathan's gonna check her out. She apparently had now I know, but when Elizabeth came over, she had this hallucination of Elizabeth holding a gun on her and talking about Jake, but she doesn't tell Griffin about that. So she says she's on edge. She asks for a magic pill, and he says, she could have mono. He wants to draw blood, but she's like, no, I'm just wasting time. I'm overreacting, but he wants her to wait and talk it out. He has a hypothesis. What Olivia Jerome did to her, he still has anxiety issues because of what Olivia Jerome did to him. So she could have PTSD, but she's like, no, I've been through a lot. Olivia wouldn't do that to me. I've been through a lot. And he's like, it's a possibility. It's what Olivia did to her was a lot. So he asks her to make an appointment with Dr. Lee, and she says okay. So then, also at the hospital, Elizabeth is offering to Jake that he can go somewhere special, but he's still bothered by the magic set. Meanwhile, the Helena guy is listening, and he's in scrubs. So he asks, Jake asks where the set is, and Elizabeth says Jason took it. Jason doesn't want the magic set back, and Elizabeth's like, that is more than okay. Honey, you weren't getting it back anyway. So he wants to get something from the vending machine. The bad guy, Helena guy, is there, and Jake goes to get it alone. So Jake doesn't seem to recognize the guy, but the guy super knows him and is super intense. Like, this guy, I'm pretty sure the audition just says, always have intense eyes, and this guy, I mean, he was perfectly cast. So then, like, they lock eyes, and Jake seems to maybe recognize him a little bit, or at least be freaked out by him, because this guy's literally just like, you know, I can't even do it. I don't have the intensity. This guy, just so much intensity. So Elizabeth asks Jake if he got his candy, and then she brings him to another machine because he couldn't find it. So they get in the elevator, and the Helena guy's still watching, and he's still creepy intense. So Jake brings up the idea of being a doctor, and Elizabeth says that'd be cool, but, you know, whatever you choose, you know, you don't have to choose right now. But Jake wants to learn more about being a doctor so he can do a presentation at camp later in the week. So then at some super secret place, I don't know, Spinelli is there. Hi, Spinelli. He pulls up a picture of the bad Helena guy, and Jason recognizes him as the guy who works for Helena. They've been working on tracking him down. Jason has concerns that Helena guy is still in town, and Spinelli tries to do a search for rented cars. It's taking too long, though, and Spinelli finds another way. So he's checking through credit cards. He's confident they'll find this guy. Oh, it's got really quiet over here all of a sudden. So he says the guy returned to Greece but came back. He's at the Oak Tree Motel, and that he bought a set of scrubs at a medical supply store. Back at the Metro Court, Alexis says that she's not using Leo for anything. She's just defending Julian's legal rights. And then Sam comes in, and good Olivia tells her what's going on. So Sam says that Julian isn't allowed near her kids. Guess he wasn't supposed to be holding Emily Scout after all, which we all knew that. And if she had it her way, he'd never see Scout. And how can Alexis defend him? And Olivia says, you know, see you in court. And Sam says that, you know, if Alexis is going to be defending Julian, then she's done too. And she leaves. She's meeting Jason for lunch. Back at General Hospital, Elizabeth gets a call from Jason. She says she's at the hospital, and he tells her to get somewhere safe, not home. Jason says the delivery man who brought the magic set works for Helena. Find a room in the hospital and lock yourself in. She tells him to hurry, and he says he is, and she gets off the phone. So Elizabeth tells Jake his dad is on the way. Let's find someone now to help you with your career day presentation. Meanwhile, the guy came downstairs and is right behind them. So Elizabeth finds Griffin. She asks if they can go into an exam room to talk, and Jake's like, we don't have to do this now. And Elizabeth is like trying to like get it through to Griffin without scaring Jake, and she's like, we need help. And Griffin's like, okay, and she puts Jake in the room. So Elizabeth tells Griffin they could be in danger. Can he stay? She needs to make sure no one can get in the room. And the guy is like listening to all this. So Jason is now at the hospital. He talks to the security guy. They're patrolling the floors. Elizabeth texts Jason her location. And Jason says that, and the security guard run up the stairs and texts her back. Griffin locks the door. So Jake asks why he's locking the door. And he says he's hiding from a mean administrator who wants to take him to a boring meeting. Jake wants to be a talking doctor like Dr. Maddox, being a doctor without the gross stuff. I can relate. So Elizabeth looks out the window, and Griffin distracts Jake. So Jake's giving Griffin like this faux exam and has a doctor coat on, and he even calls on Nurse Weber, like it's all very fun, haha, woo woo. And so he checks Griffin's reflexes. It's really cute, and then the magic act gets brought up again. So also in the hospital, Jason and the security guy are right behind this bad Helena guy, pretty much. And they're going to check this floor. He's making a getaway, and Jason almost grabs him in the elevator, but it closes too soon. So now Jason and the guy are on the roof, and Jason wants answers. And now end scene. So Nathan tells Amy he thinks he knows what's happening. Julian talks with Alexis. She says she's on Leo's side. He says that he won't ask her to represent him in a custody fight. He is grateful for her, though. He loves her, and she says she needs to talk to Sam. So Alexis asks Sam if she wants to talk about it, and she's like, no. She's waiting for Jason. And Sam asks her again why she's defending him, and she's like, don't lie to me, and she should just leave. And Alexis thinks there's something more to how she's acting. So Sam brings up bad Olivia and how everything that happened to her stemmed from that, and how could Julia not warn them that she was in town. And she even she says, call her when she wants to talk. Alexis says that. So Jake listens to his own heart and then asks if Elizabeth's afraid because of what happened at the nurse's ball. And she's like, no, everything's going to be okay. So the Helena guy tells Jason to just walk away. And then he and Jason wind up in a fight, and he has Jason pinned against the door. It doesn't look good. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to film half of yesterday's because with the preempting and then everything. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for more German Hospital. Okay, bye.